Good evening and welcome back to Be Rich. Today I am going to talk one of my favorite characters. I never get to talk about him because most of what he says goes over people's head. It is very difficult to understand this man and therefore I have not discussed him, though he was one of the first people to introduce me to markets. His ability to understand macro trends and get insights and do macro trading is legendary. In fact, if Warren Buffett is an icon, this man is an equal icon in investing. Whatever little I know of macroeconomics was first taught to me by him when I started reading his book. I had to read his book 4 times before I understood it. I am talking about George Soros, the messianic billionaire who has repeatedly made billions of dollars exploiting macroeconomic trends. But most of his money has gone in given back to society, especially in creating an open society where he opposes both communist and fascist forces. Coming from a communist society, he well knows how much damage the communists can do. And he also says the fascists are the same. His opinion is when an open society is not a natural thing to emerge, it is always the fascist or a leftist society that emerges because people don't want to take responsibility for their action. He recently spoke in Davos and he gave us a dire warning. And I'm very worried because most of the time his warnings are right. His definition was very clear. In an open society, governments are there to serve the people. If they do not serve people, they are removed. In a closed society, people are there to serve the leader and they don't matter. Two leading closed societies are Russia and China. And his argument is that both are interlinked and both are working together. And that is what I will discuss today. According to him, Putin has quickly realized that he has made a big blunder in invading Ukraine and it's not a rollover. And he is paying a heavy price. This has dramatically weakened his position and made him very difficult. And therefore, he is going to be more dangerous because he can do things that only madmen are capable of. What Mr. Soros is hinting here is that there could be a nuclear catastrophe. In fact, he goes on to say this is the beginning of the Third World War. Whether we put a lid on it and close it, or whether we go ahead and watch the world self-destruct is up to us. His argument is that the two leaders, Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin, have everything in common and both are absolutely not bothered about what happens to society. They are now linked together and want to dominate the world. I have argued several times, even before Mr. Soros said this, that if the world allows Mr. Putin to get away with what he is doing in Ukraine, the next target will be Taiwan. American and British intelligence experts, according to Soros, knew that this link-up was there and this was coming. The West was fully warned this was happening. The American and the British leaders knew what was happening. In fact, the Americans and the British also know for sure that Xi Jinping knew what was coming. In fact, the invasion should have happened much earlier. It was at the request of Xi Jinping that Vladimir Putin led the invasion to facilitate the ending of the Winter Olympics, which was his showcase event. The idea was that Putin would invade, roll over Ukraine, and if the world had watched without interfering, then Xi Jinping would have gone across the China Sea and captured Taiwan. Luckily for us, the world has rallied behind Ukraine and supported Ukraine with arms and weapons and with heavy artillery. They are holding Russia at bay, causing a lot of damage. Only one major city, Mariupol, has fallen after 3 months of intense fighting. Russia has paid a heavy price for this. The world is paying a heavy price for this. Nearly 60% of the world's wheat comes from Russia and Ukraine. And they This 60% I mean is the export market. They are the largest exporter and the fifth largest exporter. The Russian Navy is blockading exports from Ukraine. The wheat fields have been mined by the Russians. So therefore, there is a huge surge in prices of food across the globe, and there is food inflation, and people are getting restless. Since Russia has been pushed out of the crude oil market, crude is in short supply. The prices of crude are trading at $115 a barrel Brent. America is not a major importer of crude anymore, produces its own crude, is not much affected, but the rest of the world is. The fact that Putin did not decide to back down has pushed Western Europe to come around to ban import of oil from Russia. It is only Hungary which is holding up the passage of the EU bill. But sooner or later, Russian oil will be off the system. This means that food and energy prices across the world will be elevated for a long time. But what Mr. Soros wants is even a greater threat to us, is the fact that a desperate and weak Vladimir Putin and equally desperate and Xi Jinping may decide to press the nuclear button, and then there is no end. For all we know, it may be the end of civilization. The warning may be very dire, unlikely, and remote, but it is a prescient warning. It's high time the rest of the world united got behind Ukraine to push Vladimir Putin out of Ukraine and cap it at this and put China in its place. The overdependence of America on Chinese imports is at the heart of the rise of Chinese empire. So if alternate supply chains are being built, then for a period of time, China's influence in the world might decline. For this, the West has to align its monetary and fiscal policy to the new ground realities. Inflation is not going to be transitionary. Monetary and fiscal policy has to change course. Whether we can fight on and put a lid on this is something which we have to wait and watch. Thank you for watching. Be rich. If you like this content, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell notification. If you do not turn on the bell notification, you will not be notified every time we put out a video. If you like the content, kindly consider sharing it among your friends and relatives. Once again, I thank you for your support to Be Rich. I have written 2 books in English, The Alchemy of Money and Ordinary Stocks, Extraordinary Profits. These books are published by us and are ready. If you want to procure a copy, send us a message to the WhatsApp number given below and my team would respond to you. Finally, those who wish to consult with me can send a mail to berichenglish@gmail.com. Once again, I thank you for your support. If you like this video, press the subscribe button of my channel, hit the like button and turn on the bell notification.